They say whenever someone mentions Deus Ex, somebody is reinstalling it. Well, here I go. I just never imagined I'd reinstall Deus Ex because of Aspyr. And Aspyr is at it again with Deus Ex Remastered just announced. I never asked for this. But unlike some people, I do see some value in Deus Ex Remastered. How's that possible?
My vision is augmented.
Jokes aside, let's start with a short recap of what new Deus Ex Remastered brings to the table. Obviously, it supports additional systems, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and Nintendo Switch. I believe it's only a matter of time before Steam Deck compatibility is announced too, probably with another Aspyr-style trailer. The remaster will also be localized into 10 extra languages: German, French, Italian, Spanish, Brazilian, Portuguese, Polish, Russian, Korean, Japanese, and simplified Chinese. Deus Ex Game of the Year Edition, on the other hand, is only available in English. Other than that, Deus Ex Remastered will overhaul the UI, introduce controller support, and attempt to look better than the original. Aspyr also promises some quality of life improvements. Autosaves, faster loading, achievement tracking, and cloud saves across supported platforms. That will be $30. You know, on major sales you can buy the entire series on the PC for a third of that amount. Anyway, the gameplay will surely stay the same and the reality check will be brutal for the newcomers. Deus Ex can make you grind your teeth today. Meanwhile, somebody decided it needs better lip sync and ragdoll effects of all things. And mark my words, Aspyr will find a way to fuck those up too. They managed to misspell strategies and put it in the trailer for JC's sake. Although, at least we know some visual work is being done by humans, as I don't think AI would make typos. Unless it's the kind of AI that operated the automatic self-checkout machines at Walmart. Finally, let's talk about the graphics. Everyone seems to hate them, but I think it's the least of the game's problems. Still, they highlight something else in my opinion. The fact that Aspyr doesn't understand and doesn't care about Deus Ex. Graphics are not only about resolution and, say, lighting techniques. They are also about the overall vibe. Deus Ex Remastered just looks odd. On one hand, it reminds me of Quake 2 RTX with the way it slaps modern visual techniques on an ancient game. On the other, it looks like it was made in Unity with stock assets 10 years ago. All of this gives me this uncanny valley feeling. And speaking of engines, I'm wondering which Unreal Engine version Deus Ex Remastered runs on. There is this project called Surreal 98 which runs Unreal Engine 1 games on Unreal Engine 5. Given the Unreal system requirements, I wonder if this is what Aspyr is doing here. Now, in spite of all the negatives, Deus Ex Remastered has its target audience. For starters, people who don't game on the PC for whatever reason. More importantly though, the people who have never played the original because of the language barrier. Or played it for the gameplay but didn't understand shit either. Deus Ex Remastered might be a chance for them to experience the story properly. Of course, I'm willing to bet my left kidney that AI translated the script and didn't get everything right. I can bet my other kidney that Aspyr won't spend money on proofreaders and editors. Still, I do deal with translations in my day job, and AI translations are pretty good these days. Better than translation agencies I had to deal with recently. And when you think about it, Deus Ex has the funniest representation of non-native English speakers. Clearly the actors had no idea how to imitate foreign accents, so their performance is absolute horse shit, but kinda cute in retrospect. The Chinese bartender is my personal favorite. From his looks to how he speaks, not to mention that he's a real philosopher king. Anyway, if you only care for language, there are other options to consider. The original PC version was fully localized to German, French, and Spanish back in the day, and there are probably ways to insert those translations into the Game of the Year edition. There are also fan translations available, like the Polish one. I can't speak for their quality, but they are an option. If you own a PlayStation 4 or 5, you might want to check out Deus Ex The Conspiracy, the PlayStation 2 conversion of the original. It comes with a German, French, Spanish, and Italian translation. Keep in mind though that Deus Ex The Conspiracy differs from the PC version, and it is 23 years old at its core. Aside from typical console simplifications, it features altered level design. Some areas have different layouts and even look better, but they are chopped up into smaller parts. This was done due to the hardware limitations of PlayStation 2. Deus Ex Remastered, on the other hand, will most likely be a unified experience across all systems. And speaking of systems, just like with Neverwinter Nights 2 Enhanced Edition, Aspyr's latest masterpiece, PC gamers get pissed on. Seriously, there are mods out there that do a better job at remastering. Deus Ex Revision is my personal recommendation. It's packed with features, its graphics keep the retro feel, and the rearranged soundtrack sounds awesome too. More importantly, it lets you customize your experience. From mod components, detailed gameplay settings, to absolutely crazy things like the Matrix modes. It also had proper support over 8 years or so, free of charge. Meanwhile, Aspyr just released a lousy patch 1 to Neverwinter Nights 2 Enhanced Edition more than 2 months after the launch. And this game is a fucking mess. Aspyr didn't even fix issues that had been in the original game for over 15 years. But hey, they introduced new bugs in return, and brought back some old ones as well. Some fans might be tempted to say if we buy the remaster, maybe there will be another Deus Ex game. If you're one of them, don't be naive. There will be more remasters, that's for sure.
You have a single fact to back that up?
It's just a plan of the Embracer Group, which owns the Deus Ex franchise. They said as much back in 2022 when they expressed interest in doing remasters of Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal games. And it's been happening for a while now, with Aspyr remastering the classic Tomb Raider games. Honestly, it's good that Embracer are reviving the classics and localize them into more languages. It's just that Deus Ex needs a remake made by people who understand and love the series, not contractors who don't give a crap. As for the Adam Jensen saga, the Deus Ex series was terribly mismanaged by Square Enix, and the Embracer Group isn't doing any better. If the rumors are true, 2 sequels to Mankind Divided have been either planned or in development over the years and cancelled. One for Square Enix, the other for Embracer. The scuttlebutt is Eidos Montreal tried pitching a new Deus Ex game to various publishers this year, apparently with poor results so far. Unfortunately, I understand those publishers. It's a huge undertaking and a very risky one. First off, developing something that tops Mankind Divided gameplay-wise is definitely expensive. At one point, I hoped Cyberpunk 2077 would reignite interest in another Deus Ex game, but it's also a part of the problem. Expectations are high. Then, Deus Ex is very lore-heavy at the moment. A third Adam Jensen game would alienate newcomers. On the other hand, if Eidos tried to make the game noob-friendly, they would dilute the punch for the existing fanbase. You can't please everyone, and if you try, you might end up pleasing no one. I'm afraid the series needs a soft reboot if it wants to come back from the dead. A completely new story with a new protagonist. It could probably conclude Adam Jensen's story in some subplot to give the old fans some closure. Although I wouldn't mind a modest approach. A Jensen-focused spin-off like the Deus Ex The Fall, but better. Just make the story really good, bring Elias Tufexis back and do Adam Jensen justice. At the moment, the series is a victim of its own development and Pyrrhic success of Mankind Divided. It was a good game. What a rotten way to die. So, to sum up, if you speak English well and are a PC gamer, go play Deus Ex Revision now instead of waiting to get ripped off. As for the rest, if you really need Deus Ex Remastered, do yourself and everyone else a favor and give it a couple of months. Then you'll buy it patched and dirt cheap. As it should be right from the start. Anyway, that's it for this hot take. If you liked it and want more Deus Ex videos, consider subscribing to the channel and check out my other videos if you're into CRPGs of all kinds. Thank you for watching and see you soon.